Hey guys, Didact here, and these are going to be my final thoughts on Total War Attila. Now, if you were that person that pre-ordered Total War Rome 2 with exceptionally high hopes, just like me, pretty much in a love affair with Rome 1 and expected it to be a modern masterpiece, and yeah, you were pretty disappointed, especially if you bought it day one. It was in a really shitty state for probably, the first week, and then the devs announced weekly updates to fix everything, and it never really became the game that everyone thought it would. And if you're that type of person and have become pretty hesitant towards Total War games after that point, like I did, because I just expected it to be incredible, you're wrong about Total War Attila. For the most part, let me say that again. For the most part, every single issue that Rome 2 had, Total War Attila has completely fixed and improved on. From the battle AI, which in this game, now I've owned every single Total War, and I can honestly say that the AI in this game, even on hard, which is, I think you should play it on hard, on normal and easy, the AI is totally, incompetent, can't do anything, just charges pretty much and doesn't really do anything, stays in formation, doesn't do anything spectacular. But on hard difficulty and above, the AI is really, really, really smart. I can't exactly show you how smart they are. The only way I can tell you is this example might seem kind of dumb, but this is a really good example in my mind. I remember one battle I was defending, and I sent some horsemen out to the left side to take out their onagers. And instead of just not doing anything at all, they actually turned their onagers against my cavalry and sent two of their own. They actually matched up with my cavalry, even their own. Like I had light and light, they sent light and light cavalry and their onagers to attack me. Now that might seem something like, oh, that's obvious. Like a human would do that any day. Like a human would automatically do that. But for an AI to actually do that, that's pretty impressive. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that is actually a real step forward. So the AI, the battle AI especially, have really been fixed, and there aren't any huge battle AI or your soldier glitches. I think they did a pretty good job of fixing how, obviously there are capitals of provinces, so only they have walls, but you still have around the main capture point of your provinces, there usually is a mini wall around that, or at least a choke point, something like that. For most of them, some of them are still open for good combat, but for the most point, it's not so bad anymore. Other things that they have really worked on is just the visuals of trying to see. I can't really explain this very well. Let's just go into detail. Like for building, there's a building tree. You can see what you're doing. For your family, there's a family tree. In the family tree, there's a lot more options. This game is not just about running around with an army and taking everybody out. There's a lot more diplomacy. There's a lot more internal affairs. You have to deal with civil war. You have to deal with losing control of your faction. You have to deal with rival parties in your own faction. It's not just about running around with an army and killing everybody, which I have to say is very difficult. Now, obviously can be done, but it's very difficult. I recommend playing on hard difficulty, because if you're doing it on normal, the AI is pretty incompetent on the battle. On the map, the AI is very smart for the most part. I have to say, I haven't really run into armies attacking me that weren't well suited for attacking me. There wasn't any time where I was attacked where the enemy army did not at least have the same number or greatly outnumber my own numbers. They take advantage of the situation, and they know what they're doing. Like I said, battle AI is a genius. So if you play on anything lower than hard, you're missing out on really good battle AI. I've gone into enough about that. Some other improvements are diplomacy. Like I said, I can't really get into detail about what's better, but it actually matters this time. One thing that I think is annoying is a little tad. It might just be with the barbarian factions or the Franks especially, but I was unable to have trading partners with more than 2 factions. I'm not sure if there was something on my end or if that's supposed to be the way it is, but it definitely did limit the amount of money that I can make at any time. I also have to say that you're not just fighting other people, you're fighting your own faction for control. There are many things that can make a civil war happen. There are so many different things. If you lose control, civil war happens. If you lose influence, civil war happens. If your army's too unhappy, civil war happens. I'm not sure exactly how that happens, but civil war happens. A lot of things can end up into a civil war, and it's very hard to keep it all under control. The Franks start as a pretty small country, and it's really easy to get a grip on everything. But if you play as a really big faction like Eastern Roman Empire or Western, I don't even want to begin to think about how difficult that would be, because that would take each turn would be like an hour just to figure out what's going on. A couple more improvements: character progression, as far as when a general, or if it's just I guess a general. I was gonna say politician. Politicians don't show up on the battle map as in like a unit, but generals, their skill trees, you can actually see what they are before you do them. They're very well explained. It's a tree. You can see what it is. You can see what it goes down to. Another thing that's cool is each one of the traits, there's kind of like in Payday, like there's a first stage of the trait, and then if you put another point in it, to the second stage, which kind of like doubles it, so that it's twice as good. Like one was like plus 5 food for your province and a couple other things, and then the second stage was plus 10 food. So all that is explained. You can see all that stuff. Like I said before, buildings, you can see the building tree. It's not, you have to click a couple buttons to get to it. It's not just there when you build stuff, but it's only a couple buttons away compared to Total War Rome, where it was just non-existent. Now the only bad things that I could say about this game, are a couple things. One, I had a ton of trouble keeping money. Money was always an issue for me, so I would expand and grab new territory, but it seemed like every time I did that, I would never get enough money for the new forces that I had to recruit in order to keep that territory. So maybe it's my lack of knowledge with the economy, and I just can't do it. But for me, money was always an issue, and I can never get that under control. Finally, one issue that I don't like is they are breaking. They have, obviously they have DLC, and I'm not sure if I don't remember if they did this for Total War Rome 2, but they are taking out factions and selling them for DLC. I don't remember if they've done this, if they did this for Total War Rome 2. They probably have. I don't remember. I know that. I think Blood and Gore is the most ridiculous one, and they couldn't have Blood and Gore in the game. They're probably going to sell that too, and I just don't like the direction they're going in. When they're taking, like, Blood and Gore isn't even like a faction. Like, I'm surprised they even thought about taking that out of the game. Blood and Gore is like taking like horses out of the game. Like, you don't really do that. It's just part of the game. So, now for my recommendation, I would get this game really as soon as possible, as soon as you want it, because it's a great fucking game. Everything's fixed. I was hesitant to buy it, but it's the Total War Rome 2 I've been looking for a few hundred years, about 700 years in advance. So West Roman Empire and East Roman Empire are very difficult to play as. The barbarians are fun. The Huns are fun. The Huns are very difficult to play as because you're a nomadic tribe and you can't take settlements unless you do want to eventually, but you have to wait a while. So this is a great game. You gotta play as the Huns. It's all about the Huns. They are incredibly overpowered in this game. They make everyone run away. So my recommendation: Get it as soon as you want. It's a great fucking game. Stay tuned for the Longbeards expansion, which I'm going to get. I'm going to play as the Longbeards. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.
And I saw in his hand a book, sealed with 7 seals, the first of which was broken. And behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and he went forth to conquer. The air was filled with smoke and blood.